What's up, guys? You're listening to Confessions of a Gym Rat, getting you through the 9 to 5 as healthily and happily as possible. I hope that everybody had a fabulous and fun week. I'm doing something a little bit different this week. I thought that I would record from my bed because honestly, it's really cold outside, and I just got back from Rutgers homecoming. And I was outside in the rain for a very long time. So I'm cold and I wanted to sit in my bed. That's all there is to it. Anyway, though, this was a rather eventful week. I think I need to get myself a microphone stand. That's going to be my next purchase because this one clips onto my desk and it's nice, but I'm sitting in my bed. So that doesn't work. Anyway, this week I traveled to Arizona for the first time, which was super, super nice. I'll get into that recap. That was so fun. And then I come back to 48 degrees in Jersey. Thank you very much. I also saw the Eras Tour movie, which I will get into a full recap of that. And then I have a lot of other things to talk to you guys about this week. So let me see what mishmash I can jumble off in this intro here. I don't even know if that was a phrase that people use. Let's see. Dancing with the Stars. Nothing too eventful this week. No real drama to unfold. I will say I'm very happy that Mauricio had his first good dance. And Ariana's reaction to seeing her first 9 almost brought tears to my eyes. That's basically it. Those are my 2 notes from this week. I have not watched Special Forces yet. That's going to be on the weekend agenda. And I really haven't watched TV this week because I've been gone. So the only 2 things I've watched was that one episode of Dancing with the Stars and Real Housewives of Salt Lake City episode. I don't even know what episode it is. And that one's kind of sad. Whether you're a reality TV show guru or not, what happened this week on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City was this one of the housewives, Angie, found out that rumors were going around her community that her husband hooks up with other men because he's a hairdresser. And I just think like it's 2023. Like, do we need to do that? Like, do we need to speculate? You know, I don't believe it because I have no proof otherwise. Angie made a great point, or he made a great point, actually, which I think his name is Sean, where he broke down crying and was like, my daughter is going to hear this. And, you know, gay, straight, whatever, it's the infidelity part that he's like, I don't want her to think I'd ever be capable of this. And I think it's just a nice little reminder, even for reality TV, you know, it's like we run our mouths and say things and don't at all think about how it's going to affect other people besides like maybe the direct person involved. Also, it's 2023. Hairdressers can be straight. Like, let's get over it. Okay. Just because you're a hairdresser doesn't mean you're gay. Just because you're a hairdresser doesn't mean you're straight. Okay. Guy learned how to groom. I like that. You know, there's guy gynecologists, but nobody's out here calling them gay. I guess that wouldn't be a good one because you know, well, okay, my nail tech is a guy and he has a wife and 2 children, okay? Like, it's just, I don't know, that bothers me. Which reminds me, on a serious note, I know I keep things like joking and lighthearted and funny and poppy out here, but I did want to address everything that's going on in the world. I was a little bit behind. I've caught myself mostly up to date, but because I was gone at a work conference all week, I basically wasn't on my phone. My attention was towards the people in front of me, and I knew that something was happening, but it wasn't until I got home that I was able to really read on it and educate myself, and I still don't know everything about the war between Palestine and Israel. I don't know what it's like to be Jewish. I don't know what it's like to be Palestinian. I do know what it's like, though, to be Chinese and have people categorize you in a group saying, oh, you're Chinese, that means you can't drive, or like, oh, you brought this virus to America, it's the Chinese virus, things like that. And that really, really bothers me. I watched the Boston Marathon documentary, and one of the guys who was friends with, I forget the names, the two bombers, talked about it, his struggle with being Islamic and people just automatically assuming like you're a terrorist. And it's unfortunate that things like these are going on. That doesn't do them any favor, but I feel like this is just a time that we need to pray, or if you don't pray, just think of everybody. And I said this on my personal Instagram. I kind of refrain from anything political on my Lifts with Liz account just because that is more of a business page, but I think that now is the time to think of everyone. I want to say, anybody who's listening out here that is Jewish, your safety is in my thoughts and prayers. One of my best friends is Jewish, and the thought of anybody, she is the sweetest, kindest human being. I should preface with saying that she could not hurt a fly. I think we've had one tiff in almost 10 years of friendship, and it was so quickly resolved. She is so sweet and so caring and kind and giving, and the thought of anybody hurting her or saying or doing something to her face to hurt her because she's Jewish makes me sick to my stomach. It literally makes my stomach like jumble up into knots, and I can feel it turning around. So anyone out here who is Jewish, if you are Israeli, if you have family in Israel, I am praying for you. I don't know what it's like, but you have dealt with too much for too long. I also want to send my prayers out to all the people who are trapped in Palestine under Hamas. Right now, I know there's probably a lot of people who are saying, yes, we're in favor of Hamas because they're scared of what will happen if they say otherwise. I pray for these children that are young and impressionable right now, and this is what their reality is. They're not fortunate enough to have a simple childhood like mine. And I pray for everybody who is dealing with, I'm on both sides. Those who are Jewish, those are Palestinian, good-hearted people who are receiving acts of hate and terror because of your ethnicity or your religion. It disgusts me. So I think that now is just a good time to really keep everybody in your prayers. I don't know. I don't want to get too deep into it because I'll start getting all emotional, and that's not what this is for, but just some food for thought. If you haven't taken a second today to think about this kind of stuff, I know it's a little bit morbid, but you could at least be grateful for your situation and your life right now. But I did want to know that you guys make so much possible for me, that anyone who is out there on either end struggling because of the terror that Hamas has inflicted, I care about you. And I'm praying for you. Okay. Okay. That was very heavy. Let's see. I think I want to get into Arizona with a separate. So I'm going to nix the weekly highlights this week because both of my weekly highlights will have to do with Arizona, and I just want to go into a full Arizona recap. But before I get into that, I've been gone. You guys know I was in Austin last week. I came home for one night, and then I went to Arizona for a week. So now I'm home, and I had the Taylor Swift movie yesterday and homecoming today. So I have not been on top of my game. I have not been feeling my best. I've not been looking my best. I had this moment this week at the gym where I was looking at a guy next to me and saw that his bicep veins were like popping out of his arm. And I was like, damn, I'll like never look like that. And then I thought to myself, hold on. It's so easy when you surround yourself in a gym environment to be like, oh, I'm not fit. I wish that I had abs when I'm not flexing, or I wish that I had a bicep vein, or I wish my quads looked like that. Just because you don't look like somebody else doesn't mean that you don't look healthy and you don't look like you exercise. I had this moment where I felt so like icky about myself, and then I looked in the mirror and was like, hold on. The only reason why you think that is because you spend so much time in a gym around other massive bodybuilders, but to all your friends, like, you're the bodybuilder. Okay? So I wanted to throw that out there. I also know that it can be tough, and I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys and be like, yeah, I just redirect my thoughts and then everything's okay. No, I still catch glimpses of my stomach. I can't help but just kind of grabbing it sometimes, feeling it, or looking at myself from the side in the mirror and just not feeling great. But I do try and practice like what I preach, putting on a large t-shirt, putting on a large sweatshirt, stepping away from the mirror and just focusing on what you can do. You know, this morning I got super, super hungry. There was no lunch available. I had a jelly donut and half a bacon, egg, and cheese. Okay. I can't tell you the last time I've actually had a donut, but I probably won't have one for a very long time. So I don't know. I guess what I tell myself is all you can do is get back on track. So tomorrow I will be full force back into things, going to go food shopping, the whole 9 yards. What was I going to say? Everything is temporary. And I said it on my story this week where I was like, you know, you can't be going out. You can't go on work trips and stuff and be so concerned with like how much you're eating and stuff. I've told you guys that I try to keep work trips as similar to my routine at home, but this particular trip that I was on was like a conference. So I was sitting in a meeting room all day. I had breakfast, lunch, and dinner with everybody that I work with. So there wasn't many options, you know, like I didn't have any meals by myself. I had to eat what I was given. So I just made sure that I was getting up, getting my cardio and my lift in. And then I was eating enough to fill me up. I ate a little bit more of a heavier breakfast and lunch because I knew I wasn't going to snack. And then maybe a little bit thicker of a dinner, and that's okay, but I wasn't going to eat anything after. When it gets to the point that you're away and you're thinking of looking at food, kind of starving because you're taking the smallest portions or you're nervous about it, I think that's when unhealthy behavior starts to kick in. So when I catch myself being like, I can't measure this, I'm like, hey, it's okay. It's okay. You'll be back. And on Sunday, we're going to kick it into high gear and we're going to get it right back to where we are. So those are just my little PSAs today, but I want to jump into things because I do have, wait. There was one more thing I wanted to tell you guys about in the intro. This week, I was talking to my boss or my boss's boss, whatever. And I don't even know how we got on the conversation of it, but she was like, she told me, you know, you really shouldn't eat before you shower. And I was like, huh? And she was like, well, you shouldn't eat before your shower because your food doesn't digest properly and it causes a lot of bloating. And I'm like, well, now you have my attention. Elaborate. She didn't go too far into details, and I'm not going to lie, I didn't do too much of my research on this, so I can't state whether it's fact or fiction, but I'm going to try it this week. What she was getting at was the way, like, I guess the change in temperature, that hot temperature of the shower after when your body's digesting because you just ate, can throw off your digestive system and create bloating. And she said, you know, it's the same reason why you don't want to go swimming after you eat. And I was like, I thought that was because of cramps, but you might have a point. Maybe the cramps are from that. And then I sat down and thought to myself, you know, I normally get home from the gym. I am starving. So I go and eat whatever's in sight. And then after I'm done eating my dinner, I go take a shower. And then it's normally that time after bed that I start to feel little rumblings. And I start to get a little bloated. So I am going to try that out for like a week or two. And I'll come back to you guys with my updates. And I don't know. Maybe I unlock something here. Maybe she unlocks something. I don't know. Anyway, We have a lot to talk about, so I want to get into this week's episode starting with my Arizona recap. Okay, Arizona was one of the coolest places I've ever been. It's not my LA. I could not live there when it's like 115 degrees in the summer, but I had a super, super fun time. I actually got the idea. I don't know why I don't bring like travel journals with me because you guys know I journal and I write stuff down, but that's more therapeutic and for my emotions. I should bring like an actual travel journal with me so I can record like my everyday doings. I had to go to the Phoenix area for my work conference on Monday, but I decided to go see my dear friend Kat, who was on this podcast. So you can go check her out, because she lives there. And we had a fun-filled influencer weekend. I kid you not, I whipped out like the shoes, like 2 shoes from my bag, and they were my white Lane 8s and then my white Air Force 1s. And she whips the exact same 2 pairs out from her closet. If we lived together, the house would be a mess of same thing, like same words, different fonts. You know what I mean? But I did get to check out some really cool spaces with her. She took me to her regular gym on Friday, and then we went to Top Golf, in which my swing was rated a 1.5 out of 10 by my brother. Apparently, I need to straighten out my back arm. I get it. But Saturday, we went to Track Club Fitness in Phoenix, like downtown Phoenix, and that place was cool. I'm not a huge fan of Arsenal equipment. It's really hit or miss with me, but it was big. It had like 4 squat racks, I think a decent cardio area, and a posing room. And I like to take my pictures. So that posing room, I was all up in. And then she took me to this frozen yogurt place at night. I don't know what it's called, but it has a huge sign on the window that says world's healthiest frozen yogurt. And then like charts on the inside proving why it was the world's healthiest frozen yogurt. I didn't read them because I said to myself, I'm getting it anyway. Is going to be what it's going to be, but I'll tell you, shit was good. Yeah, I got a banana cream pie flavor, or like a toasted banana, something like that. And I topped it with rainbow sprinkles, yogurt chips, Heath Bar Crunch, yum, and some maraschino cherries. And it was delicious. And I'm thinking about her right now. But Sunday, we kind of basically did the same thing. We went around Old Town, where I found the cutest store ever. I forget what it's called. I'm going to have to Google it, but everything was pink. I wish that I could live in that store. The ceiling was fuzzy pink. Like it was made for me, but everything was too expensive. And then Monday morning before I headed off, we went to, I think it's called Pro Physique Gym, and I got a nasty leg day in. I'll tell you, a nasty leg day. I loved it. I had so much fun. If you're in that area, I would recommend going there. And then I found this random place called Kaleidoscope after that's like inside an office building. But they sold protein waffles and shakes. So I said, well, it's going to be a long day. I'm going to have this and I'm going to be on my way. So I did get the Red Eye protein shake. So it had a little bit of caffeine in it, protein waffles. And then I was on my way to my hotel for work. So the first day we did a hike, and the guy who organized it, he's an Arizona local, and he was like, oh, it's nothing. It's a baby hike. Having done it twice, I would say, yes, it's not a bad hike, but doing the hike at 2:30 p.m. when the sun is its strongest was a little bit jarring. Not gonna lie. I made it through because I'm also like, I'm the type of person where I need to keep outdoing myself and my own expectations. And I was like, Liz, you're not gonna quit right here. Like, you have spent so much time working on your health and your fitness and then establishing a name for yourself. You're gonna walk up this goddamn trail. We did 3 miles, and then we turned it around because we had to. So we had to go back to work. But Wednesday, we went out again in the morning and we got to do 5 miles and see the sunrise. So if you're in like the Scottsdale area, it was the Lost Dog Wash Trail. Really pretty at sunrise. It was 70 degrees, There's no humidity. Saw the sun like literally rising, little tiny lizards skirting about. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. And then we ended the whole thing with a little dinner at a ranch and some cows were running loose. It was very cute, very wholesome. But Arizona was a lot of fun. I was upset. I was sad to leave. I was happy to come home and go to my regular gym and go about my routine and sleep in my bed. But sometimes I go to these places and I'm like, God damn, why am I freezing my ass off in New Jersey when places like this exist? Ugh. Anyway, though, 10 out of 10, I would go back to Arizona. Thank you very much. All right, so I feel like this topic that I have for you guys today isn't necessarily, how do I say this? It isn't necessarily health and fitness related, but I try and bring up topics to you guys that are not only health and fitness related, but also just like useful to you as another, like girl to girl to guy, whatever. Just me spitting things as a girl in her 20s. And I guess there is a way that it ties back into health and fitness. So that's why I thought this conversation was good to talk about. But I'm just going to say it flat out. I am so sick of girls being nasty to other girls. I'm sick of it. I feel like this has been a thing since elementary school where girls have this like instinct where when they feel threatened by someone or jealous of someone, they're immediately nasty to them or make assumptions based on people's looks and hobbies when you don't know them at all. And I'm sick of it. It happens in high school. It happens in college. It happens in the workplace. It probably happens when you're middle-aged because I watch Real Housewives and I see it. Okay, let me tell you, there's probably some stuff that's set up and producers are whispering in things' ears, but you cannot change the nature of a person. And I've seen it. In short, your jealousy is a very ugly look on you. I have noticed, I'm one that gets a lot of backlash, and I always make it a point to be like, hello, I'm not a supermodel. Okay, I'm aware of how many followers that I have on social media. Just trying to fix my microphone here. But I shouldn't have said supermodel. I meant superhero. I'm no more special than the rest of you, okay? I wasn't born Gigi Hadid. I wasn't born Taylor Swift, Michael Phelps. I could go on. I am just little old Liz. Born in a middle-class family, got some good grades in school, went to college, got my degree, working full-time. But because of how I physically look and the things that I've done, like the accomplishments that I have, I get a lot of backlash. And I don't mean to say this in a cocky way. It's going to come across probably like a little bit like that, but just bear with me and try and understand, put yourself in these shoes. I'm not saying I'm the best looking person on the earth, but I work out, obviously. If you didn't know that, you're on the wrong podcast, but obviously I work out. So I take care of my body. You know, when I was in high school, I hated the way that I looked, but I make sure that I don't look like that on purpose. I take care of my physical aspects. You know, I get my hair cut the way that I like to. I make sure my eyebrows are tweezed. I love to do makeup, so I put makeup on. That's my thing, you know? And I feel like I get a lot of hate from other people who don't look like me when they easily could, you know? It's like if say you're struggling because you are gaining a lot of weight and stuff, and I've had this happen, so I'm saying it like this is a hypothetical, but also a real situation. I've had women who hate their bodies, have gained a lot of weight in the past few years or so, just be so rude and judgmental towards me. And it hurts. It hurts because one, you don't know me. And two, I literally make it a point to go on the internet and encourage others to live a healthy lifestyle and help you learn tips and tricks and exercises and all that. So to be nasty to me because I work out and you don't is so stupid. So stupid. I make a choice to go to the gym. You could make the choice as well. And I'm sick of seeing it everywhere. It's things like, oh, that girl got a job before I did. I freaking hate her. Or like the girl who always has the cool clothes. There's secretly girls behind her back calling her a bitch, I bet, or a slut. Something like that. Because when we feel jealous and threatened, our automatic response is to just tear each other down. When really, now that I'm in my mid-20s, I think about it. And I'm like, that girl with the cool clothes, I want to be friends with her because I want to know where she shops. Or if she's trying to clean out her closet, I'll come and help and I'll take some. Why would I not want to surround myself with people who can inspire me to be better? I look at that girl with the cool ass clothes and I'm like, you are giving me inspiration. That's how I feel with Tamara, who was on this podcast. She's one of my best friends. She is so much more knowledgeable than me on a lot of things. And I could look and be like, oh, this girl's a know-it-all. What a bitch. She thinks that she knows all her shit. But instead I'm like, keep talking because I'm taking notes. I want to write down the things that you know and the way that you act and all that stuff. I don't know why that is our nature. That is what we decide to do. Attack people when we're feeling down. But I am so sick of it. And it is National Men's Mental Health Month. So I did want to talk about it because a lot of mental illnesses can be blind. I'm a strong ass girl. I can handle a lot, but I do have a history with depression and anxiety. I am on anxiety medication. So I could sit there and hold my head up high and smile in your face and act like everything's okay. But those words hurt me on the inside. The things that I know people say behind my back and whatnot. And I don't know. I just personally, the way that I feel is God forbid I was nasty to someone. I said something outlandish to them, or I talked about them behind their back, or I bullied them. God forbid I was the straw that broke the camel's back. I don't know what I would do. And the thing is, with people, you never know what's going to happen. I just saw a post from Twitch, Stephen Boss, last week. Something came up about him, and it just reminded me, people can seem totally fine and then do something drastic and life-threatening the next day. It's just terrible. So what can you do instead of taking your... Also, I think it's one thing to note that if you think you're being slick about talking behind people's backs and stuff, you're not, because people always find out. This whole entire world is a rumor mill. It is so hard to get away with anything. But yeah, point is, whether you're in high school, whether you're in the workplace, I don't think it's acceptable at any point, but especially as we get older, it's just astounding to see that people still act this way. So what can you do when you get that feeling? I understand that it might be a natural instinct feeling to be like, oh, I'm envious of this girl, I hate her, and just talk shit and stuff. The first thing that I want to ask you is what is making you hate her? What is the root of that jealousy? Is it because she looks great? Is it because she hustles with her job? Is it because she gets to meet cool people? Okay. Instead of sitting there and wasting your energy being negative towards her, why don't you figure out how to spend it on yourself so you can improve and be a better version of you and reach that goal? Or fix what you're feeling insecure about. That's step one. Step two, write it down before you say it out loud. I used to be so bad at this and now I'm getting better, but my parents would always say, think before you speak. And I would not. I would just speak. I would just say things. It's quite literally what I'm doing right now. And as it would cause a lot of freakouts on my end. And I think I get it from my dad, where we're very similar in that sense, that it's when we get heated, we just bust open, and it's caused a lot of problems in my life. So now before I'm about to say something to someone or about someone, I write it down. And then I look at it and I'm like, is that really something that you want to say out loud, or can it just stay away in the journal? Because listen, we're all human. We're not perfect. We have thoughts that aren't nice sometimes. I don't think anyone's a perfect angel in their own mind. So you write it down. You keep it in your journal. You get it out of your system. But opening your mouth is only going to hurt that person and make it a really bad look on you. Okay? And then third, I would say, honestly, befriend that person. Like I said, I want to be around people who encourage me and inspire me to do better. So if I'm feeling threatened or jealous, like I'm going to pause and take a second and be like, wait a minute, this person could really help me in life and be a beneficial friend to me. So let's be friends, because like I said, the words that you say and the actions, like people see them, and people will always find out because we all got big ass mouths. Your jealousy and your envy is making you look bad. It smells, it stinks. It needs to go. It's stinky. And it's honestly just, and I'm going to say this in a harsh way, but people need to hear it. It's pathetic. At this age, it is. Anyway, though, guys, that is it for this week's episode. I hope you have a fabulous week. I will be hopefully having a guest next week, if all goes well. Make sure that you subscribe and give me a thumbs up on YouTube. Follow the podcast on Instagram at Confessions of a Gym Rat, and then follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Lifts with Liz. I'll talk to you next Monday.